weeks. This is the 20 weeks time. Yeah. I've been referred to Liverpool. They don't deal with babies before 28 weeks. Yeah. But it's another 2 months down the line, which is just not ideal. Right. Is what it is. I'll just keep you informed. So and the most important thing is, you know, your girlfriend. So any support you need, you know, you're right behind you, my son. Thanks, Catherine. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, when you have players who wives or girlfriends who are expecting, and you've had children yourself, you understand that how that moment and how life changing it is going to be. So with the Jordan Davis situation, I feel for. My escape was football. I went to football so I could escape what was happening at home.
Is one of you gonna try get it? Finn was leaning on the wall before. Little Finny boy enjoying the afternoon sun. Hey buddy, did you hear your name? Showing the whole world your privates. Finn. We are at the ribbing. I've just cast on for the ribbing. I've done the high-low hem, so cropped at the cropped at the front with the short rows in the back. So yeah, I knit the large size. I have alternated skeins, which I guess gives us a stripe. No neckline yet, provisional cast on, but I did the high-low in the back and I didn't alternate skeins at that point just because I couldn't. So I think it's slightly more obvious. Oh, that probably could come down more at the front here actually. So yeah, I woke up not feeling great today, so it's been a knitting on the couch day. Hopefully finish the body. I've got 1 inch of ribbing to do, 1 by 1 rib. Oh, there's Pussycat. And then I think I'll try and do the neckline, and then we'll do the sleeves later this week. Hello and welcome to the Mad About Ewe YouTube channel. My name is Madeleine. I'm your host here. I use she and her pronouns, and in the spirit of reconciliation I would like to acknowledge the Gubbi Gubbi people as the traditional owners or custodians of the land that I come to you today on the Sunshine Coast, and I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. It is Tuesday. It is the 24th of September 2023. I think there's an ant in my tea. Nope, just a floaty of, I don't know what that was, but anyway, we'll drink it anyway. Yes, so it is, like I said, the 26th of September, it's a Tuesday. I last spoke to you, I only uploaded recently, but it was the July recap, I think. I think this will be an August, September summary. Just because I haven't got my shit sorted, and yeah, that's it. How this works is I'm occasionally slightly sweary. I try to tone it back, but sometimes that comes through. I will talk about any finished objects, of which I have one today. I will talk about some works in progress that I have going, and then we just have a chat about upcoming makes, live updates in the knit and native leather section, and I usually do a segment called reading, watching and listening, just admiring my hair because I washed it this morning and it's turned out pretty good. Not the back's not so great. Anything. Yeah, so I don't know if I said this already, but if you're new here, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate that you've yeah, spending some of your time with me. Grab yourself a brew of some description. I have some water in my obscene little carry thing, and I have a cup of Turkish apple tea. Bought it in Turkey last year with my sister in a place called Kusadasi, and it's really delicious. And I felt like I'm out of practice. I haven't talked a lot for a week, so yeah. All right, let's crack on to finished object. I am finished my Love Note sweater, which you can see here. Where is my leftover yarn? What did I do with it already? Yeah. So I knit this yarn out of, I knit this jumper, which is called, it's the Love Note by Amy Christophers. I used Woolen Works yarn in the Pink Petal Pie colorway. I used 4-ply superwash merino and a lace mohair silk, which was a 72-28 blend. I held them both together and I did helical knit this. I knit a size 4, which was for a 48-inch bust with 4 inches of positive ease. I actually haven't measured it, but it's probably pretty spot on. In terms of, let's go through leftovers and then I'll talk about the pattern. So this is all I have left over. The exact details are on my Ravelry project page, which I will link below. There'll be links to anything that I talk about that's linkable in the description box below. I forgot to tell you where you can find me online. Anyway, we'll do that again in a minute. And so this is what I have left over from 2 100-gram skeins. It is a, I'll look it up on the iPad because let's give you the correct details as opposed to my estimation. Yeah, so I cast this on the 20th of May in the last school holidays, I believe. No, I think I made the project page then when the yarn arrived. I didn't cast it on until the last school holidays. All right, so I ended up, the pattern calls for a 6mm needle. I swatched and I ended up using a 5.5 for the main body and then a 5mm for the rib sections. All right, at the end of finishing the body, I had 79 grams of this left and I had 40 grams of mohair. At the end of the first sleeve, I had 57, 30 grams of mohair, and then at the end I have 35 grams of this remaining and I have 20 grams of the mohair. So you can see how they, same colorway, but obviously, excuse me, the dye takes differently to different materials. So there's that. I used some nods, on my project page I have some notes about modifications to raise the back neck, which I don't think I ended up doing. I didn't do bust darts, I left it fine, but my friend Naomi, who is yarn curator on YouTube here, she is yarn curator on Instagram as well, but she's House of Cardigans on YouTube, and she has a tutorial for adding bust darts to the Love Note or just in general. And then I have a ribbed border and bind off link in there as well. Yes, so how often will I wear this? I'm not entirely sure. I might just stand up and I don't know how this will work. I wasn't planning on this impromptu fashion show, but here we go. All right, so the pattern has a high-low hem. So I'm wearing a high-waisted pair of jeans here. And you can see I did short rows in the back. This is all in the pattern for a high-low hem. I did it as per the pattern for the cropped version because I was a little bit concerned about running out of yarn. But with what I've got left over, I think I wish I had done an extra inch maybe. And I did, to be honest, think about like cutting in here, extending it, and then doing it again, but I think it's probably fine. So we've got lots of like room in the back here. It's a little bit tight on my bust, but not excessively so. I probably could have added an inch to the sleeves as well. They are supposed to be just past the elbow. Yeah, so I helical knit, which is I think why we don't have a whole lot of, there's a bit of like pooling here and in a couple of sections on the back. But I did, basically, I alternated skeins every round, and I just did helical knitting. So I slipped the last two, I slipped 2 stitches, whoops, before I continued, and I just did it that way. Let's just get this right. So yeah, this is my love note. It is a little bit warm because of the mohair. We've got some pussycats around. Yes, so I've blocked it. I just have like a tan bony bra on. So you can see this beautiful lace panel. I wonder if I tip that down. So it has blocked out quite nicely. Some people have done the love note without the lace panel. They've just used the shell of, or I guess the basis of the pattern, and that looks really lovely as well. If you are interested in knitting a love note, Nicole from Professor Purl is running a love note knit along. She has done it for the last 3 years or so. I think she's got up to number 6. To be fair, I probably won't knit this again. It was enjoyable for the most part, but just with the mohair. That's been trying to get into the garage. For our sake, I might just let him in. Anyway, so yeah, love note. Really enjoyed. It's not by Amy Christophers at all. I lied completely at the beginning. It's by Tin Can Knits. I don't know why I said Amy Christophers. Oh dear. Okay, so that's number 1. Finished. I was actually going to change my top. Hey, Gil. You want to say hello to your fans? There are some people who love you. No, she's gone. Okay, I do have another finished object. So I cast on back in July. I did talk about them last episode because I think I'd finished 1 sock. These are both finished now. It's just a basic vanilla sock with a fish lips kiss heel. I knit, the yarn is Scrumptious Purl. I still have the tag, I think. Probably should put it in my book now that it's done. Ooh, no, they're just some Mavis stitch markers, which I like for socks. I saw it already today. Where are you, little remix? Anyway, the yarn is Scrumptious Purl. The colorway is a remix. It's a one of a kind though. There was something slightly wrong with the striping pattern, I believe. Picked it up at Rhinebeck last year, which, oh my gosh, was nearly a year ago. So yeah, I really love the self-striping that Scrumptious Purl do. They're very talented at it. So I just did a 64 stitch sock on a 2.25mm needle. I couldn't tell you, I just knit till, I don't know, I thought it was enough. A 2x2 rib in the cast on. I did a fish lips kiss heel, which is a paid for pattern, but it's $1. It's like 14 pages long because it's got pictures and explains to you how to do the heel, but you only really need 2 pages of the pattern. Pardon me. And then I did this new to me toe, which is a rounded, mohair. So it's a rounded toe, and you might be able to see at the end, you just, like decrease enough stitches and then put it through. So, yeah, the decreases kind of just like move in a spiral way. So you don't end up with that, like the ears on the end of a sock. Let's see if I can show you what I'm talking about. So this is a pair of self-striping socks I finished ages ago. Oh, actually, this is not too bad. Usually when I Kitchener should figure out what decreases I used on this. Usually when I Kitchener socks, they end up with like these little dog ears is what I like to call them on the sides, and I hate them and I think they're really ugly. So yeah, this sock, oh, I have worn them, was a Christmas self-striping I got from Rainbows and Sprinkles maybe in 2021. So yeah, my little box of socks, because I don't wear my hair-knit socks all that often, is just behind that sign there. So these ones will now get added to the box of socks, and yeah. Okay, enough of that. So yeah, they're my finished objects. I started knitting them on school camp in July we went. I spoke about that in the last vlog episode that you saw. And then I really just hunkered down and finished them. I had probably about this much to go on the second sock, and I just did that on Thursday, maybe last week. As soon as I finished the love note, I was like, I need to get this sock done. So I did. So I finished 2 objects this holidays, which is great. And then I'm working on another one. So let's move into works in progress. Okay. So I think I showed you these tubes a while ago. These are sock tubes that I cranked on my Elbacker Gearhart Speedster, which is a circular sock machine I bought back in 2021. I have an Etsy shop where you can send me yarn. I will crank them into tubes for you, and then you just turn them into socks. So I cranked these 2 tubes for myself recently for a pair of socks for my sister. So I think that's the one I did last night because it's got slightly more green at the top. So basically I just cranked the tube 64 stitches because that's what the smaller cylinder that I have on my machine. And then I just stuck my needles in, picked up, did 2x2 ribbing, like pulled back, did the ribbing. Now I messaged her and I was like, I couldn't remember how her feet were the same size as mine, and they're pretty similar. So I just got to figure out where to put the heel. Then I'll pick up there, do an afterthought heel. So basically what I'll do is put my needles in either side of a row of stitches. Then you make a cut, pull it out, do like 2 rounds, and then do an afterthought heel, or any kind of heel really, I guess, because you're building it and decreasing it. But I will probably use the Susan B. Anderson Smooth Operator sock heel for these. So that's my next goal, is probably to finish them sooner rather than later. I did notice, however, so they're supposed to match, but I had a little accident with my machine, and so I've added extra yarn in, and when I've done that, they don't line up anymore. My sister wears them around the house, so she won't actually care, but if I had have thought about it better, oh, actually maybe my ribbing was supposed to start. Anyway, they're not gonna match. I don't think she'll care too much. She's just appreciative for a pair of socks. Yeah, so I don't have any needles in them, but that's my current work in progress, because the next thing is to cut in the heel, or I could do the toe and then cut in the heel afterwards, but I figure it's probably easier just to cut in the heel, do the heel, and then figure out the length of the foot, and then do that. And then with the leftovers, I might actually have enough to, if I use a contrasting color, like if I make, say that's the toe, I probably have enough here to make myself a shorty pair of socks. So I might also look at doing that in the near future. The other person I owe a pair of socks to is my dad, from Father's Day. So I've got a sock tube ready for him as well. And yeah, I've made no other cast-ons. I just decided that for the rest of my holidays, I really want to start to get these pair of socks for my sister done, and I probably won't have time to do the ones for my dad, but that's okay. Just looking over this way because my box of Future Makes yarn, because I'm again packing. So what was I thinking? Okay, let's move on to half and half wrap knit along news. So I'm the worst knit along host ever. I'm gonna make a separate video maybe today about the winner for my 6-month finishing the half and half wrap knit along. And yeah, so last time I looked, I think we had 138 people who had registered to participate with us, so that's really exciting. I have got to send out, I've got to pick a winner for the 6-month prize, and then there are a couple of prizes left for the second half of the year for people who like over the year have finished, so that's exciting. I'm going to record a new video and put that up on YouTube so people can see that. But yeah, I've just had so much going on. I've been a really bad host of a KAL. So I am hosting the half and half wrap knit along. This is my half and half wrap. I knit it in Purl Soho linen quill. It is enormous. I knit the large. I knit almost the largest size. So the small size you cast on 190 stitches. The big size you cast on 260. I did 250. 2 colors, raspberry something and peony pink. Yeah, so it's all folded up nice and neat in my Yummy cupboard with my Pangono. The rest of my knits are actually packed in a box. I put them in a plastic tub with a bucket load of like little camphor discs, which I don't think I have any on me at the moment. But yeah, so I've done that. Just looking at my hands, they're so dry and I have so much dermatitis. Yeah, so basically it was cast on the 31st of December last year, or any time thereafter. And join us knitting yourself a half and half wrap. It's a whole year. It was really low key. I've obviously not spoken about it often enough. I think people have forgotten. I've forgotten to post about it. But yeah, so it was a really big project. It took me basically from December till May. But it got my grandma knitting again. I inspired her. She hacked the pattern and did it wrong by accident, but she's cast on again and she's doing really well. She was at her halfway point, so that was exciting. We started the increasing. We built it. It's a free pattern by Purl Soho. I just used their linen quill because I really wanted to, and I had a lot of FOMO about this wrap, and now I have it. It's great. Could be a picnic blanket. It's so big, or just like a lap blanket. But yeah. So that's it for that news, really. If you're still knitting, can you leave me a comment below? And when you're done, or if you're knitting on it and you're posting, make sure you use the hashtag, because that's where I'm checking for people's completion and adding them to the list of people eligible for prizes. So yeah, cool, that's that done. Let's go knit another life update, blather news. Whew. So August was a month. I spoke to you last time and I was like, I don't want to jinx my house sale. Did jinx it. I'm hoping that tomorrow we go unconditional on finance and then I have to move out by Friday. I've packed a lot of stuff already, but the rest of the house needs to be packed. My agent seems fairly confident that this will finally go through, but we've had like 6 weeks worth of extensions on their finance and I didn't listen. Well, anyway, I listened to the advice of my solicitor, and then my agent gave me his opinion, and he's a professional, so I didn't do something, and I wish they had up. So that's been really annoying. But it is what it is. Life is life. So yeah, maybe moving on Friday, but unsure at this point. I will know tomorrow, probably at 5 o'clock, because that's just how these people roll. So that's been really stressful the last couple of weeks, like getting different things fixed and finished, and packing, not packing, getting ready for school, or like trying to deal with phone calls and stuff during school has been really tricky. But hopefully tomorrow we are good. What else have we got? Vlogmas. I asked about it last time. I had a few people say, do whatever feels good for you, whatever. The other thing is I'm thinking if all of my house moving stuff goes ahead and I'm living with my folks, I have looked at a trip, an overseas trip, but it's 3 weeks from like the 2nd of December till the 24th, so just before Christmas. So that doesn't bode well for Vlogmas, and I've got 2 advents coming. One I've been sponsored to post, like not sponsored but gifted to post about. So I'm like super conflicted, but I need this house stuff. I can't really think about it till after I've got myself sorted, moved. I'm moving back in with my parents, if you didn't know, and that'll be for about 6 months probably. So possibly the last podcast from this room anyway. I said that last time, but it wasn't. But this hopefully will actually be the last time. So yeah, there's that. trying to decide like what to take to my folks, because last time it was really easy. I just had a couple of suitcases worth of stuff. I bought a desk and like set up a study. Now I'm in the smaller bedroom this time because my mum has the guest room set up with like gym equipment for her and stuff. So I'm in a smaller room and I've got the cats, but I guess I'm not studying, I'm just working, so I have less stuff to bring, so that's good. It's just like figuring out what you need. The other thing is last time, excuse me, I couldn't touch the stuff that was in storage. Like once it was in storage, it moved up from Canberra, that was it. Whereas this time it's my storage. I paid for it last time, but just the way that things worked with my old employer and the moving stuff, I couldn't get into it. Whereas this time I can get into it. So I'm just like being really strategic with like the location, like packing all the stuff I definitely don't need at the back and anything I might like to access. Just with the change of seasons and stuff like clothes, probably like pack in the storage shed towards the front. So that's been big. I'm trying to just figure all of that stuff out. And like, do I need my desk anymore? I don't think so. I probably would still like to have one at my new place, but it's a really big desk. Do I need such a big one? Probably not. Do I have the time to sell it on Marketplace? No, also no. But my mum and dad might like it for their place, so I guess I could. Oh, actually we need to talk about that because I can't remember. Other things like, I'm going to take my sock machine with me, but probably like leave it set up, leave it in the box, like pack it down into the carry box, so it takes up less space, and then if or when I get an order, pull it out and use it and then put it back away. It is a bit of a production to do that, but you know, the other thing is I leave it in the storage shed, but I feel probably more comfortable. Sorry, I'm just looking over towards all of that shit that needs to be dealt with. So yeah, that's really what's happening. I've got one more term left of school, 9 weeks of term. We start on Tuesday because we got the King's birthday holiday coming up on the 4th, which is a surprise. I'm supposed to go to the Gold Coast this weekend, which is why I'm not recording on the weekend. I'm also supposed to be moving house, so you know, whereas this I can record and hopefully have ready to go. I've shown you all of the stuff I've knit, so this will probably be a August, September recap, and then hopefully in October we're back at mum and dad's and just getting on with life. Future makes in terms of projects, which I sort of talked about, I don't know. I want to make the mock neck tee thing by I think it's a Jessie Maid pattern. I'd like to make that, so I've got the yarn set out. I've got some sock yarn. I want it, my my UGG slippers are like dead and my UGG boots are dead. I've just worn them to death, so I'm actually going to try and knit myself some Fair Isle slippers that I can wear around the house. So I pull the yarn out that I've got for that, and then I've also got some three mums yarn because I wanted to make an Darren cardigan. So I've pulled that out as well, and that's kind of going in my, and my pressed flowers yarn as well. The other thing, actually, we should have talked about this back, you know, whatever, but I've been really thinking about advent knitting. So my advents from last year, most of them I think are here. I did an advent swap with my friends. Yes. The other thing, oh yeah, where is it? Give me a sec. What have I done? I've talked about it before, I think, but I have a whole heap of I have leftover advents, like it's somewhere between 8 and 10 grams of these yarns, which are Louis and Lola from my 2020 advent calendar. These are all 10 grams and they're from Mel of Three Cats yarn. That was a 2021 advent as well. And then I've got all of my advents from my friendly swap. So I love hexagons. I started crocheting hexagons last Christmas. And I liked them, but I was getting a little bit confused with the pattern because I don't crochet so much anymore. Anyway, I bought the Tin Can Knits Polygon pattern, or Oh, the lights are really bad at the moment. And this was a souvenir mini skein that I bought from Stephen and Penelope last year. I can't remember what it was at all. I think it's Ching Fibre, but I could be wrong. Anyway, I did the polygon pattern. You cast on and then basically decrease down to the middle, which is great. It's a little like, instead of the pinhole cast on and knitting out, you reduce down, which is good because I hate a pinhole cast on. However, this took 11 grams and most of my minis are between 8 and 10 or 8 and 11. So I keep touching my face. This mohair is like all up in my grill. So what I was actually thinking of doing, and I have wound some off to give it a practice, is maybe doing 2 rounds in white using, it's like Nundle Willen Mills plain 4-ply yarn that I bought on a cone when I made my Daffodil Road Narnia throw blanket advent kit thing. So if I did 2 rows of like the cast on and then the row 1, I basically need to knit it and see how I go, bit of trial and error. Because then once you black block, I have fingering weight double to make it DK. They block out real nice, and then I felt like they would probably like seam well together if they were done in white as well. So that would get me around my reduced yardage, I guess. There is another hexagon blanket that I did start, which is by Ellie of, don't remember, I'll put it on the screen. But I didn't love that because it was less mindless knitting. To be fair, this wasn't that mindless either. So my options really are go back to the crochet, held double, and make as many little things as many little hexagons as I can, and then seam them all together with white, which was the original plan. These are all 20-ish or more gram minis, so it's just like, oh, if I only use 10, then I'm ending up with the same problem, whereas I'm trying to get rid of the 10 gram leftovers that I have already. The other thing that I had started, which I've pulled out, was a jelly roll blanket, which is by Kay from the Bakery Bears. And I liked that. I just hated the colors that I started with. So my other option really is to Bakery Bears, like work on my jelly roll, but I feel like that needs less, like more active color management, so it's cohesive, as opposed to this, which would just be like do the squares, and then once they're do all the hexagons, and once they're done I can you know, put them together. So anyway, that's my rabbity ramble about I don't know what I'm doing, but I'd like to use them. So they will probably get left out as well. And then I do have a full advent set coming from Susan from Ash and Eve Designs, and I have the one that I've been gifted by Daffodil Road. So yay for Christmas and advent knitting. All right, reading, watching, listening, like I said we'd get to ages ago. I've been reading a lot of this author called Karla Sorensen. It's free on Kindle Unlimited. She writes romance novels. Really, I've just like super gotten into them. There was like this one, you start with one and then the characters. I like the ones where they all interconnect. And I've gotten into NFL just through listening to that, and then watched the documentary Quarterback on Netflix, and interesting. And then my fave, Taylor Swift, is possibly dating an NFL, I don't know what position he plays. But anyway, I'm like, oh, okay, interesting too. So, Finnegan. Sorry, cat. So that's been interesting. I do have some actual non-fiction books to read on my holiday still, which I haven't read, but I'm trying to, you know, balance the knitting, being active, like going for a walk or going to the gym, and like with the uncertainty of packing and whatnot. So yeah, that's soda water. That's why that tasted weird, bud. So yeah, watching, I just told you about some things I watched on Netflix. I actually watched the Welcome to Wrexham documentary, which was, documentary series, which was interesting. That's on Disney. And I watched the Matildas doco, which I loved. So it was good. And then listening, nothing in particular, lots of different random music. So yeah, that's that. Okay, we've rambled. If you'd like to find me online, you can. I'm Madbell on Ravelry. I'm About Ewe on Instagram. That's really the two most important things. I have my Etsy shop, which is About Ewe Studio, and if you enjoyed what you saw, if you want to keep up to date, you can hit the subscribe button, or you could like this video, and yeah, that's about it really. Thanks for joining me for this ramble session. I was like, it's going to be short and sweet. It was not, but we know that's my MO. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. I will see you probably at the end of October for an October in review. Bye!